Thank you very much. Have to say that we had a great day yesterday. We met a lot of old friends, but also met a huge amount of new people and had a good discussions with them. Also, I really enjoyed the presentations yesterday. In the opening keynote, the kind of highlighting the speed of the change we are facing nowadays. Mikko was talking about the city of Helsinki as a platform and what kind of role the city could have as a platform. Also, what I really liked was the idea that putting people in the center of this change and into the core of a smart city transformation. And this topic is also about the same thing. In the McKinsey presentation, there was an idea of putting a digital layer on top of the kind of the physical city, and kind of enabling that you can build different kind of services and solutions and application on top of the physical city and the data what is available on that platform. I have a software developer background, and that's the reason why this presentation is maybe focused on that area and having an approach what we can do with these kind of rapid application development platforms in the context of the smart cities. The idea here is that such platforms can enable real co-creation environments and giving kind of the keys of the change to the people, and also kind of integrating all different kind of stakeholders together. So that's kind of what I would like to discuss about how this kind of innovation platforms or the rapid application development platforms can actually help us to faster implement and deploy different kind of solutions, but also how to share them between the different kind of smart cities and inside one country or between in the different countries. Very shortly, briefly about the company. I'm working for the software company called Wapice. We have almost 20 years history already, and we started as a four people startup company, and nowadays employing over 350 experts, and we are very heavily focusing nowadays helping our customers on a public and a private sector to kind of make the transformation into a digital champions. We have a quite strong background in the industry, but nowadays more and more helping also kind of entities on a public sector. But I would like to very shortly start with a brief example from the history about how people really make the change and how people, when they really understand the problem and understand enough about the technology, can make a quite big changes. We need to go back in the history into the era of the Industrial Revolution, the second one. It was time of rise of the factories and changing the way how we actually manufacture the goods and things. But it was also time for big innovations related to the electricity. And in that time, for example, before we have this kind of publicly available electricity, we basically used candles and oil lamps and gas lamps to lighten the private homes and factories. And when you combine the idea that there is a big change going on, that you are building factories and changing the way how you manufacture things, and you have a poor lighting, it has a direct effect to the productivity. So the good guy in the story is a guy who was actually working in the Thomas Edison research team, and he was really kind of he honestly believed that the version of the light bulb what Edison has invented was going to be kind of really usable. And well, I think his version actually was the first one that was practical for use, and it was kind of economical and use and maybe safer than the competitive solutions. But actually, this guy, his father was a factory owner in Tampere, and he managed to convince his father that I want to try this kind of new smart lighting solution in your factory to really see what kind of effect it has into the productivity. And well, his father let him do this, and what they actually did, they selected one factory hall and changed half of the oil and gas lamps in that factory hall to utilize the new smart lighting light bulb solution. The results were so outstanding that basically very quickly after that pilot project, they did the full-scale factory implementation of the new electricity lighting. And when people saw that, hey, in that factory they have so much better lighting solution. Why in the citywide in our roads and kind of public properties? Why we don't have this kind of solution also? It was pretty quickly after the kind of factory scope. It was widened into the whole citywide deployment, and they were really in the kind of front line of the change, utilizing new technology. But I really think that it wasn't about the technology itself. It was about people who really understood that what you can do with the new technology. They understood that what kind of productivity you can gain with that kind of a solution. And I think that is also important nowadays when we talk about different kind of technologies and what could be utilized in a smart city context. It's really important to involve and engage people to really build those real solutions that can be maybe scaled up. But let's come back to the 21st century and to the how to enable that co-creation. I think not all the cities are same. So the concept of smart cities is not similar to the big cities or small cities, as we heard already in the previous presentations. And very commonly when we talk about the smart cities, we face the terms like a physical city compared to the virtual city, digital twins, or technologies like a blockchain or smart lighting and smart metering, energy efficiency, artificial intelligence. But those are kind of the technology approach to this context. And kind of what I think is that all the cities, they should somehow figure out their own strategy, how they want to make the transformation. And maybe some of the cities are more technology driven, maybe some of the cities are more like a human driven, putting the creativity and human potential and knowledge into the center, and maybe some cities are something else. But what I really think is that all the cities should kind of build up their own strategy and make a link into the city DNA, what they really want to do, and kind of putting the people in the core of the change and letting people to innovate new things in the context of the smart building, smart cities, sorry. And kind of that way, we really will end up with the solutions and applications that improve the quality of our life. So what it really means when we kind of talk about these rapid application development environments and kind of adding the digital layer on top of the physical smart city. I think that we are not lacking the ideas in the smart city context that what kind of applications, what kind of services or solutions we would like to build. But currently, I think we are lacking the kind of the people who are skilled to implement different kind of solutions, and we really should kind of take totally different kind of approach into the application development, kind of giving the keys to the people who have the ideas and help them and enable them to build the applications really. So what you can do actually in this kind of the, how would I say, the kind of the core idea in this kind of innovation platform or the application development platform is that you basically remove the software developers from the context, and by giving proper tools for people who understand about the data, who have the ideas, they can build the real end user solutions very easily. Of course, the video is more about the solution what we have, but there is a lot of similar solutions, and I would say that this kind of rapid application development environment is a kind of rising trend also in the kind of software business area. What you can kind of the benefits in this kind of environment is that when you are building a new solution on top of this kind of platforms, you can actually access the scalable and global markets immediately. The idea is that if there is a company or the person, for example, in the city of Tampere, building a great solution and people really like it, you can easily distribute. You can share the same application with the other cities. So you get rid of the idea that you need to implement the same application several times. Also, what you gain in this kind of environment is that you can very rapidly test new ideas, new applications, and get kind of feedback from the real users. What can be what can be done, but also kind of getting the feedback. How can you improve the solutions? Also, if we think about the idea, maybe the standardization is not that far yet, but of the idea that you could actually share your ideas and share your applications between basically all the cities around the world. So these of course these platforms should be somehow kind of interoperability enabled, so that you can actually share different kind of things. But kind of the key thing here is that by putting the people in the center, giving them proper tools, enable that they can build turn their own ideas into the smart applications, into smart solutions, and that way you can get much more kind of wider involvement into building the smart city. Not only the technical people who are more or less already keen about these smart city ideas and inventing new technologies, but also the real citizens, people who are living in that smart city who want to improve their living environment, and that would be really important when we talk about the smart cities, giving the proper tools for all the people so that they can also contribute to building different kind of smart city solutions. We are really happy that we have been allowed to test this kind of approach with the city of Tampere, and kind of the idea that how it actually could work in a context of Tampere, and also how we can engage the other kind of a vendors to utilize the same platform. Tampere, as I think most of the other cities also have a big smart city project ongoing, and inside the bigger project there is this kind of a pilot project possibilities, and we are testing and kind of evaluating this approach in that kind of a pilot context. We are also going to a Smart City World Congress together with Tampere to tell our story about this kind of approach, how you can change the way how you actually deliver and build the application in this kind of new environment. The other case example of same kind of approach is a company called Vahanen. They are one of the biggest Finnish consulting companies in construction and property brands, and kind of very heavily focusing on building healthy living environments, which is I think really core in the smart city context. Yesterday we announced the collaboration with them, and they are using our platform for collecting or connecting all the data what they have in their buildings and environments together. But kind of more important is to enable to implement their future ideas on top of the platform easily. Nobody really knows what those applications should be, which kind of make the smart city or add value to this life of the citizens. So there need to be totally new tools how you actually start to making the transformation, and of course you need to have smart buildings if you are planning to create a smart city. They say that Rome wasn't built in a day. Most likely these smart cities aren't either built in the day. But for example, today and yesterday, we had a house full of people who are really keen on really making this smart city transformation real. And I think we really need to be open for new ways of doing things, as our friends did in the Smart City 1.0 example of deploying totally new kind of lighting solution instead of the oil lamps. So kind of this is something, utilizing this kind of technologies, you can start building your smart cities today, smart city applications today, and you can even deliver the solutions already today. Thank you very much for your time.